You hear the name Greenland, and you probably picture rolling green hills, right? Well, that was a pretty clever marketing trick from about 1,000 years ago. The reality, at least for now, is this vast continent of ice. But here's the thing, that icy reality is changing, and it's changing way faster than anyone ever predicted. The future of this massive island is now completely tied to the future of our entire planet. So, how is it that this remote, sparsely populated landmass at the very top of the world is suddenly becoming a central player in everything from climate change and global economics to a brand new great power rivalry? That's really the core question we're going to dig into here. The story of Greenland isn't just about ice anymore, it's about power. All right, so first up, let's talk about the central paradox of Greenland. A land that's famous for its ice is now being defined by its melt. And to really understand what's happening, you have to grasp the sheer, mind-boggling scale of it all. Okay, to get your head around this, just picture an ice sheet that covers 80% of an island 3 times the size of Texas. We're not just talking about a bunch of glaciers here. This is a frozen reservoir of fresh water so immense that its fate directly impacts coastlines thousands of miles away. Now check this out. At the very peak of the summer melt, something really important starts to happen. As that brilliant white snow on the surface melts away, it reveals all this dust and black carbon that's accumulated, creating what scientists call dirty ice. This isn't just a color change, it's a fundamental game changer for the entire system. And then, just a few weeks later, boom, a fresh blanket of snow comes in and gives the ice sheet a little refresh. It looks all clean and pristine again. But don't let that fool you. What scientists are seeing is that the summer melt season is getting longer and longer. It's starting earlier and ending later, meaning this seasonal refresh just can't keep up with the overall trend. So what's the engine driving all this? Well, it's something called the ice albedo feedback loop. The easiest way to think about it is like wearing a t-shirt on a sunny day. A white shirt reflects the sun and keeps you cool. A black shirt absorbs it and you heat up, right? Well, that bright white ice acts like a white shirt, reflecting the sun's energy back into space. But that dirty ice we just saw, or the dark ocean water underneath, that's the black shirt. It soaks up the heat and literally turbocharges the melting process. And the result of that feedback loop? It's a trend that is just relentless. The Greenland ice sheet has not had a net gain in ice since 1996. That means 2025 marked the 29th year in a row that has lost more ice than it gained. This isn't a blip on the radar, folks. This is a pattern, and honestly, it's pretty alarming. So what does all that ice loss actually look like? It's a number that's almost impossible to really wrap your head around, but scientists estimate that Greenland is losing enough water to fill 110 million Olympic-sized swimming pools every single year. Just let that sink in for a second. But here's where the story takes a really unexpected turn. This environmental crisis is, paradoxically, creating a historic opportunity for the 56,000 people who actually call Greenland home. Out of this melting ice, a new nation is trying to forge itself. You see, as all that ice melts away, it's like a treasure chest is being opened. We're talking about newly accessible rare earth minerals that are absolutely crucial for our phones and computers. We're talking new Arctic shipping routes that could slash travel time between continents, a growing tourism industry, and, of course, the big controversial one, untapped oil and gas reserves. For a lot of Greenlanders, this isn't just a crisis. It's the economic ticket to independence. And they are absolutely not just sitting around. They are building for this future. A perfect example is the brand new international airport in the capital city, Nuuk. With a longer runway, it can finally handle bigger planes for direct flights from around the world. This isn't just an airport. It's a bridge to the rest of the planet and a powerful symbol of their national ambition. And this ambition isn't some abstract political thing. It touches everyday life. As Katrin Weise, the duty-free manager at the new airport, says, it's all about making life easier and creating a solution they can scale up as they grow. It's this really practical, grounded vision of the future, being built from the bottom up. And make no mistake, this isn't just some vague dream of independence. They have a plan. The path to sovereignty is actually laid out in this clear, step-by-step process. It involves formal declarations, tough negotiations, and eventually a public vote. It shows you this is a really serious, calculated move toward becoming a new nation. And really, this one quote from Greenland's Prime Minister, Mut Egede, it just says it all. It's this profound desire to forge their own identity, to be themselves, not defined by their old ties to Denmark or the new interest from other major powers. Okay, so that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle. Because just as Greenland is looking to define itself on its own terms, the world's superpowers are looking at Greenland and seeing something totally different, a strategic prize in a new global game. This whole idea was kind of thrown onto the world stage in a big way by former US President Donald Trump. He didn't just offer to buy the island. He framed it as a matter of national security. That statement, "We need Greenland for national security," wasn't just some weird headline. It was a huge signal that the geopolitical landscape was shifting. And it's not just the US. A new great game is unfolding in the Arctic. The United States sees Greenland as absolutely vital for things like missile defense. China, which cleverly calls itself a near-Arctic state, has its eyes on those new shipping routes and all those minerals. And of course, Russia is beefing up its already huge military presence in the region. All of a sudden, this quiet, remote island has become a strategic chessboard for the world's biggest powers. So where does all this leave us? Well, we're at the heart of the dilemma now, where one nation's choice has consequences for the entire planet. And here it is, laid out as clearly as possible. On one side, you have the completely legitimate dreams of 56,000 people for their own country and a better future. And on the other, you have the potential consequences for 8 billion of us, rising seas from all that melting ice, and the risk of real instability as global powers compete for control. And look, this impact isn't some far-off theoretical thing. It's happening right now. Meltwater from Greenland's ice sheet is already responsible for a staggering 20% of all global sea level rise. What happens in Greenland does not stay in Greenland. It's lapping at the shores of coastal cities all over the world. And so, that leaves us with this one huge final question. As this new nation literally emerges from the ice, will its people be able to navigate all these immense pressures and actually chart their own course? Or will the dream of a sovereign Greenland get crushed between the melting ice and the ambitions of global superpowers? The answer is going to define the Arctic, and in many ways, the rest of the world for the century to come.